Hello, today I'm going to be continuing the series on how to create parts in Autodesk Inventor. I'm going to be showing you some more advanced techniques and methods of manipulating parts to create different shapes and holes. I'm going to go to the object that we created last episode. So here it is. The part one has three different ways of making this part. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the different types of sketches you can make. So you can see you can do lines, circles, arcs, rectangles. So I'm just going to cut out a little piece, maybe off the corner. To do that, I'm going to show you how to use arcs. So you click on arc, you select the face, and now you start the two-dimensional drawings. I'm gonna first you put one side of the arc, the other side of the arc, and then you put the radius. I'm just gonna put it like 10. And then before you extrude, the sketches have to be completed like a closed loop. So I'm gonna use the line tool and connect these two corners and click escape. Now this is a closed loop and you can extrude it. So to do that, go to 3D model, extrude, click on, sometimes you have to click on the part that you want to extrude and use the controls showed in episode 1. So that was a piece cut out just like that. I'm also going to be showing you how to create holes. This is very useful in different assemblies and when you're connecting parts together, and it simulates real holes that you would have in real objects where you would put screws maybe. So there's a few different ways to do that. I'm going to show you the two ways that I know. You can either create circular sketches or use the hole tool. So I'm just going to show both right next to each other. So I think I'm going to do maybe 2 holes on this face. To do that, you start a new sketch. To do that, you can click on line, select the face, and you can see that the line tool, when it's green, it snaps to edges. So I'm going to click this edge, maybe put like 5 millimeters, and then 90 degrees, 4 millimeters. So to put a hole right here, I can go to the circle tool, snap it to the middle, and then set the diameter, so maybe 2 millimeters. Now, what you do, you just select this to extrude, and you can extrude it to make the hole. So the second method of creating holes is by using the actual hole feature. So to do that, you do the same thing. You start a sketch. I'm going to click a line, select the face, put where I want the hole to go. And now when I go to 3D model, click hole, you can select the different edges where you want the hole to go. So this is a little bit more customizable and it's easier to get like tapered holes and things like that. But I'm just gonna make it the same type, so 2 millimeters all the way through in that direction. So the end result ends up being exactly the same. It's just some of these might be easier to manage, and the whole feature allows you to make different types of holes like these automatically. Then the next thing I'm going to show you is how do you change measurements. Let's say I want this hole right here to be 1 more millimeter to the right. So to do that, I can go back into the extrusion, go into the sketch, double click, and you can see all the measurements are right here. So I can switch this from 5 to 6 millimeters, click finish, and it automatically moves. Now sometimes if you just draw a line, I'm just going to draw one over here. If you just draw it without typing in a value, you see it doesn't have a label like this one does. So to add a label, you can click dimension, select the line, and it adds a label with the length of the line. So now I can either leave it or make it like 4, and it automatically moves to that length. Finally, I'm going to be showing you how to do a fillet. So basically, it's just rounding the edges of your model. So let's say I want to 3D print this model or make it look a little bit nicer. You can see that all the edges are really sharp. So to fix that, there's an option to round them. It's in 3D model fillet. So what this does, you select edges and it automatically smooths everything out. So sometimes when you're 3D printing, you don't want sharp edges, and you just go through all of them and make them smooth. And some of the options that they give you are radius, and then some other modes for how the fillet wraps around. So let's say I want to make it smaller, I can make it 0.4. And I'm going to do another one and show you some problems you can potentially run into. Let's say I want to do this very sharp edge. Sometimes the fillet can be too large, maybe not in this case, but it'll show in red, and like it's 51 right now, and you'll probably get errors. So it's important I usually try to manually type in like a low value, see what happens, and slowly work my way up until I feel it's what it should be. And then of course you can always go back, double click, and go back and add any extra edges that you want in case you missed them. Alright, so that's some more tips and the basics of creating parts. Using these strategies, you can probably create most of the parts you need if they're simple shapes with holes. A lot of like plates and things like that can be made using just these methods. In the next video, I'll be showing you how to use some of these parts and create assemblies where you put all the parts together, and show you all the ways on how to connect them, and later show you how to create motion in parts.